Hello friends, now I am going to start to discuss water resources of India, chapter number 11. We all know the meaning of the water, that base of our life. No water, no life, right? Even we can spend one time in the day without taking food, but we can't live without air and water. Am I right? So, water is essential part of life. We need the water for existence of our life. It is true. Any type of life cannot be imagined on earth without air and water. So we cannot find option of water. Okay, some people say that we need the food, but even after coming of the running activity, if you come at home, what will you ask to your family member? Please give me water. Means you have no option of the water. Even in the food, you are taking lots of the delicious food, yummy foods. But even after yummy foods, what will you ask? I want to drink water with taking bites of foods. Means even with the food, we must need water. It is essential. Am I right? So, if we want to understand the usages of water, it is too much lengthy list. But some essential need we can count. Entire biotic world use water for sustain of themselves. Second, the prosperity of any nation depend on agriculture, and agriculture is always dependent on the water. Also, the prosperity of the nation is based on whatever the amount of water the nation has, because many industries need water also. Means agriculture, industries, and for self requirement, water is necessary. Self requirement like drink, cooking the food, other domestic use like cleaning the clothes, cleaning the home, and cleaning the utensils, and domestic use. Thereafter, if we understand the value of all these things, we must understand that water is essential part of our life. Am I right? Again I repeat, entire biotic world is based on water. Second, prosperity of any nation depend on agriculture and amount of water. Third, water is required for drinking, for domestic use point of view, and for industrial point of view, right? So we need water compulsory. Water shortage is being created because the proportion of water with us and how much use has been increased. Both are different. The population is always affecting the proportion of natural resources, because the population never stops, so the demand never stops. But as the speed the population growth is seen, Equally, the proportion of the natural resources are not increasing. That is the matter of worry. And we need, for fulfilling these population, the proportion of water. Okay. Second thing, this is the basic requirements which I have discussed. But for many development projects also, we need the proportion of water for construction of building, for construction of roads, for construction of any assets. You need the water. Means water is essential part for us in all the way. With considering all these things, it is clearly indicated that our demand of water is more, but the proportion of water is less. So we need to understand the use of water must be done when it is actual required, means sparingly we need to use, because as the other natural resources, water is also now in limited proportion. At many places we listen that the groundwater level has gone down. It means our demand of water is more, but even in the groundwater level, under the layer of the earth, the proportion of the water is very less. In South Africa, Johannesburg; in India, Bengaluru; also Delhi. These are the places. In America, the California. These are the places where the most probably cities are going to be declared as the waterless city. In Johannesburg and in India, the Bengaluru have already been declared as a waterless city. Their groundwater level has gone down, very much down. So the requirement of the people is unable to fulfill. That is the main problem now. So remember, water is in limited proportion, and it has become now limited resource, because if the water will come in the river, ocean, then the condensation will done, the cloud will be created by evaporation, then the water will come back to the earth. So water cycle is in danger now due to the global warming and so many reasons. I don't want to discuss it here, but I want to clearly indicating that proportion of the water is less, our demand is more, and we are suffering now scarcity of the water. So we need to understand it. Neither any resource can replace the use and requirement of the water by other way. If the environment exists, it is because of water. So water is the essential part of life. I have already earlier stated for twice. So here we can also say that water is inseparable part of our life. We must require water in all the way. Is that clear? So I have stated the uses and essential requirement of the water, or the importance of the water. Is that clear? Now we are moving to the second part of the topic, sources of water. There are basically main source is one, rain, and other two sources, surface water and groundwater. But without the rain, nothing is possible to develop. So the rain is considered as original source of water on the earth. Underline this sentence and make it note that this is important for 1 mark. Rivers, lakes, seas, bays, stream, well, step well are essential. But all those are considered as surface water because those resources are preserving the water in specific area. But if the rainfall is not coming, then these resources cannot preserve water. So the rainwater is essential in consideration as original source of water. Right? Okay. I was talking about river, lake, ponds. All are secondary sources. They are based on the rainwater. And river, pond, lakes, well are preserving water on the layer of earth. We can see the water in this layer of earth, so they are called surface water. We can see the water on the earth in specific area like river, like stream, like bays, like ocean. Here the water is seen on the earth. So it is secondary source of water. The third one is groundwater. See, our actual proportion of water mostly is seen, but groundwater is also an important part of our water resources because groundwater is having 42% of the water of accumulated under the layer. Now the question comes, what is called groundwater? Here you are listening, but I am explaining the meaning. Due to the process of water absorbed by the lower strata of the earth, due to the process of water absorbed by the lower strata of the earth, the water is collected inside the layer of earth. It is called groundwater. Generally, the accumulated water on the earth is having the different proportion, but the groundwater level is usually considered as unlimited because we can get the idea that inside the layer of the earth there is the water. Approximate we can say, but exact volume we cannot decide. So it is considered as unlimited proportion. Understand that in India, in northern plain of India, 42% of groundwater is there. In southern part of India, the groundwater is in less proportion. Why? See, the northern part of land is the river plain and alluvial plain. At so many parts, the water is being absorbed and collected in the groundwater. But in the southern part of India, we can see that plateau region, mountainous region, so the hilly soil and land cannot absorb the water inside the layer, and the water will not be enough collected inside the layer, so the proportion of the water in groundwater in southern part is very less. Understand this. Groundwater is utilized mainly for requirement of irrigation. And irrigation usually seen by plain area, by canal network. Lining of canals are required from the river source to the farm. By ponds in southern India, how can we see the irrigation? By ponds in southern area it is done. So actually there are three ways of irrigation. First is the wells and tube wells. Second is a canal network that I have said. And third one is a ponds. So generally in different part of India the irrigation is taking place in a different way. Irrigation is the best way to bring water towards the agricultural land which is dependent on it. And we need to see that our canal network work based on collected or accumulated water spent through the canal network towards the agricultural farms. It is called canal irrigation. In India, wells and tube wells mainly found in region of alluvial plain, means the Ganga river plain, in the northern central part. The canal network usually seen on the northwest side in the Punjab region, the region of Satluj, Ganga and Yamuna, as well as in delta regions. The delta regions are in the southern eastern part. Mahanadi delta, Godavari delta, Krishna delta and Kaveri delta. Means Satluj, Ganga and Yamuna are creating canal network on the northern side, and in the southern eastern side, I repeat, Mahanadi delta, Godavari delta, Krishna delta and Kaveri delta are providing me or us enough canal network for agricultural aspect. Okay. Now I want to discuss how and where the ponds are possible. Ponds are generally placed in southwest area of the peninsular plateau. And because it is a plateau region, it is a hilly region and mountain region of the Western Ghat mountain. And in eastern part of India, where the Himalayan mountain is seen, in that area enough ponds have been established. So wherever the mountain and hilly region and the plateau regions are seen, the ponds can develop. So in the Jaipur you can see lots of the ponds. You can see many part of Gujarat where the rainwater collection is very less. The ponds are preserving the water for the daily routine of the life. It means we can do in Punjab irrigation by canal network, in southern part by ponds, and in northern central part by wells and tube wells, right? This is the irrigation's development in India. But remember, our 84%, I repeat, our 84% water is useful for irrigation. It is not a small number. It means you think that our total collected water, out of it 84% we use for irrigation. It is the biggest number. Approximately 1500 liter water is required for producing 1 kg wheat. So now you think how much water in the Punjab is used for the production of wheat, because the Punjab is considered to be wheat ball, the wheat granary. Most per hectare production of the wheat highest in India, because they have enough canal network. and they are able to do just due to the irrigation done by canals. Paddy, sugarcane and jute. These three type of crops are mostly required more proportion of water for agricultural crop production. So water is being used in India and in all over the world since ancient period for agriculture through irrigation. In India it is seen in 2nd century of our calendar years in river Kaveri. Grand Anicut Canal was constructed in 2nd century, means 1800 years ago. So in those days the kings and the administration was aware about the need of the people for the agriculture and the basic requirement. Second example I want to quote here. In 1882, the Eastern Yamuna Canal, see on the river Yamuna, Ganga and Yamuna both river are connected with the Uttar Pradesh. Remember this. Satluj is passing through Punjab and Uttar Pradesh is the northern central part of India. So in that area the Yamuna is the important river which is connected with the Ganga onwards going towards the Bay of Bengal. But before that, in Uttar Pradesh, Eastern Yamuna Canal was already constructed in 1882. So here I am not going to consider or discuss the historical aspects, but I want to explain only one thing, that the administration at every time is aware about the requirement of the water for the life of people. Now remember one thing, that see these 2 points, 84% of water, that is important for objective question. 1500 kg, 1500 liter water is required for production of 1 kg wheat is also 1 mark question. And third question, which crops required more water? Paddy, jute and sugarcane. It is a third single line question. Fourth question, in 2nd century Grand Anicut Canal was constructed on river Kaveri. Then the fifth question, the last one, in 1882 the Eastern Yamuna Canal was constructed in state of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, here I have discussed the complete paragraph in objective question type, and every line is required to understand for 1 mark answer. You have to prepare, right? Okay, now I am discussing the next point about multi-purpose projects. Here many large and small rivers we have in India. Here in India we have many large and small rivers flowing at everywhere. So India is a very diversified country in the geographical aspect. At some places rivers, at some places gulf, at some places streams, at some places wells, at some places step wells, at some places lakes, at some places ponds. So we have variation in the river, in the water resources. Understand this. So water is useful for us, and we have in a different way enough water. We use the water for agriculture, for fisheries, for hydroelectricity generation, means the electricity generation from the water, for transportation. We can understand the use of the water in many ways. And when we construct the dam, all these requirements can be fulfilled by one project. So these projects are called multi-purpose projects which provide hydroelectricity, water transportation, enough requirement of the water for drinking and irrigation and domestic use is possible, for settlement, for internal or inland water transportation, for recreation parks, for wildlife protection, for development of fisheries. These are the uses. And also, these multi-purpose projects are restricting flood, preserving soil, and preventing soil erosion. So, which project on any dam or river is constructed fulfill many purposes is called multi-purpose projects. This is the simple explanation and the description of the uses. But here the definition is a multi-purpose project means, now I am describing the definition. And multi-purpose project means project to solve various problems relating to the water in river valleys, which includes flood control, prevention of soil erosion, preserving soil, providing water for drinking, domestic use and irrigation purpose, for industrial purpose, the land developed for the settlement point of view, generate the electricity, develop the inland waterways, which is called internal water transportation, for a recreation park or the entertainment point of view, the places could develop, wildlife protection with requirement of the water and the vegetation, and last, development the area for the fisheries. See, these are the basic essential requirement in multi-purpose projects for what we do it. Now I want to discuss some names. In India, we have different rivers with different multi-purpose projects. I am discussing some names. In your textbook, it is given with the table. Name of the river is Satluj. It has Bhakra Nangal Dam. Bhakra Nangal Dam, which give benefits to the state of Punjab, state of Haryana, state of Rajasthan. Second, Kosi River. Kosi River and multi-purpose project's name is also Kosi project, which gives benefit to Bihar. The third river is Damodar River. Damodar River, and the multi-purpose project is Damodar Valley Project. Damodar Valley Project. It gives benefit to the state of Jharkhand and the land of West Bengal state. The fourth river given here is Mahanadi River. See, in our Indian language, Hindi and Gujarati and other Sanskrit, Nadi is the meaning of river, but here the name is given Mahanadi and then we use the river. So it is the state of Odisha which is benefited by river Mahanadi. And here one big multi-purpose project, it is Hirakud project. Some students are writing Hirakund. No, Hirakud. Hirakud. You can get the detail from Google and so many internet ways. The detail of Hirakud. Okay. Next one is the Chambal River. It is a river of the state of Madhya Pradesh. Chambal River is providing benefit to the state of Madhya Pradesh and state of Rajasthan. For that purpose, the multi-purpose project named Chambal Valley, it is also considered as Gandhi Sagar project. But here it is indicated as Chambal Valley project on the river Chambal. So you have to remember the name given as in the textbook. Next one is the Krishna River. On the Krishna River, the Nagarjuna Sagar multi-purpose project is given, which provide benefits to state of Andhra Pradesh and the newly developed state in 2014, state of Telangana. See, Telangana is lastly developed state in India, and their home state was also Andhra Pradesh. So both are today neighboring state to each other. No, they are not twin states. Twin states means one capital for both states. No, that kind of no. Both states have their own different state capitals. Okay. The next river is River Kaveri, which has one of the greatest and the oldest project, Krishnaraj Sagar project. Earlier we discussed the Grand Anicut Canal on it. The state which are benefited, state of Karnataka and state of Tamil Nadu through this multi-purpose project. Next one is the Tungabhadra river. They have project by the same name, Tungabhadra multi-purpose project, and their states are benefited states are Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Both are nearer. See, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This is a cluster of 5 states. Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This is a cluster. It is an important 5 South Indian states to remember. Okay, next one is Narmada River, one of the second largest river after Ganga. In southern part it is the most one after Godavari. 1400 kilometers length. Narmada has 1400 kilometer length. They have no tributaries, no branches, directly merging towards the Arabian Sea. This river is. They have Narmada Valley or Sardar Sarovar Dam multi-purpose project, one of the largest project in India for producing 1400 megawatt electricity. It's one of the biggest, more than 130 meter height. Doors, more than 20 doors are on one multi-purpose project. Has been completely established after 2014. And almostly now electricity generation have started on it. The states which are benefited, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Maharashtra. They are getting benefit of it. Right? Okay, now the next river is Mahisagar. See, Mahisagar is the river of Gujarat, one important river except the Sabarmati. Kadana and Vanakbori, these 2 dams are on one state, on one river. In state of Gujarat, they are benefiting. The second another very important river for Gujarat is Tapi. See, Narmada is for Gujarat and other states, but Mahisagar, Tapi, actually river's name is Mahi river. Their basic dam is Mahisagar dam. but here it is indicated as the Mahisagar river, so I am explaining. So the Tapi near the Surat as a city, and their dams are Ukai and Kakrapar dam in state of Gujarat. Then the last one is Sabarmati river, which is important river for Ahmedabad and near Ahmedabad district in Gujarat state. Emerging from Aravalli mountain in Rajasthan, entering towards the entering towards the Arab Sagar. It is merging in the Arab Sagar. Here the most important dam is Dharoi dam, and it is important lifeline for Gujarat. So Narmada is a lifeline for Gujarat, but Sabarmati is the ancient river of Gujarat, as like the Narmada. Some other history here we have not to discuss, but just I am saying this. Okay, my friends, today I have discussed with you about some irrigation and the water importance of chapter number 11 of our study. Okay, friends.